What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Now, I purposely waited a little longer to post this video because I wanted to see what was going on with the stock market. I mean, it was going crazier earlier, and so I wanted to be able to cover that in this video, so I waited a little bit. So we're going to talk about the stock market. We're also going to talk about a poll that I did about stimulus checks. How do you guys feel about stimulus checks? Do you think they'll be coming, a fourth stimulus check or not? So we're going to talk about that. And then I want to talk about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They came out with this graph and they showed us exactly what's going on when it comes to inflation and how that's affecting us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're also going to talk about North Carolina. North Carolina has a surplus. They have a surplus of about $6.3 billion. Will they be issuing stimulus checks? We're going to talk about that. But first off, on this channel, we talk about retirement, we talk about Social Security, and we talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so the first thing I want to take a look at is the stock market. Man, it was tough. It was tough today. Really, really tough to watch. And I just want to go over some of the percentage loss today because, I mean, it was red throughout the market. And the reason that I look at the percentage, this is what I look at. Okay, well, a lot of people look at the numbers here, the points. I like to look at the percentage because it's easy to calculate. So let's say I have $100 invested in the S&P 500 and it drops 4%. So if it drops 4%, that means I'm down $4, okay, off that 100. So it's easier to calculate it that way, and that's why I like to just look at the percentage. So we saw S&P 500 down 4%. We saw the Dow was down 3.57%. So that's huge. That's a huge number. And NASDAQ was down 4.73%. And then the Russell 2000 was down 3.56%. So everything, I mean, we're looking at the market, everything was down. And so that was bad for the stock market, which means that's bad for all of us, okay? Because most of us have a 401k or a 457 plan, or we have money invested for retirement. And that means that our investments, we lost a lot of money today. So we're going to have to see what goes on with the market. Right now, it's just crazy. And I don't even know how to call it, where we're going to move from here. Are we in a bear market? Are we looking at a recession? Are we already in a recession? I mean, these things we'll find out in the very, very near future, but this is definitely affecting everyone in the U.S. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this poll that I did as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the poll. So I did this poll 2 days ago, and I asked a simple question. Do you think we will see a fourth stimulus check in 2022? Okay. And the answers, and we're talking 2,400 people participated in this poll. Now the results, yes, we will, 23%. Okay. No, we won't, 77%. So I think it's clear that you guys are under the impression that there will not be a fourth stimulus check, right? Now I did a video, 3 days ago, and I talked about this specifically. I went in and talked about stimulus checks and why I think at the current time we're not going to see another stimulus check just because of the way the economy is going right now. We're in a situation where we're looking at inflation and everyone is paying more for gas and for food and everything. We're going to take a look at this Bureau of Labor Statistics graph here, and that graph will back up what I'm saying. But we're looking at inflation, and when we're looking at inflation, it's very, very hard for politicians to vote for a stimulus check because stimulating the economy during an inflationary period is something that might inflate the economy even more. So that's the danger there. So I think pretty much everyone right now, a vast majority of people are looking at this and they understand that stimulus checks are not coming. So if you're hearing people talk about this, saying that their stimulus checks will be coming next month, or stimulus check will be coming in the summer and all this stuff, it's just not happening. Politicians aren't talking about it. And if they're not talking about it, it's not going to move forward. We need legislation in order for this to happen. We're not looking at executive orders. The president can't sign an executive order that sends out stimulus checks. Okay, that has to come from Congress. All right, so next thing I want to talk about is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay, actually, before we even do that, let's talk about North Carolina. I just want to go over this, and this is briefly. I want to go over this briefly because they have a surplus in North Carolina, And the talk was that will they be issuing out stimulus checks, right? We are seeing like gas rebates and things like that. We are seeing states come up with different rebates that they're offering to the people in their state. But it doesn't look like North Carolina will be doing anything. So right now, just to give you guys a background, North Carolina has about $6.2 billion in surplus, right? Now let's look at gas prices. So the national average right now is $4.48. Okay. Now North Carolina, their national average is $4.24. Or 25 cents if you want to round up to 6. Now with this surplus, what the governor wants to do, Governor Cooper, he wants to fund building construction, education inequities, affordable housing, and worker retention. That's where he wants to spend the money. So when it comes down to it right now, stimulus checks in North Carolina, they're not talking about stimulus checks in North Carolina or any type of a stimulus or rebate or anything like that. They are talking about raises for state employees. So that's something else that's being discussed. But when it comes to a stimulus check, they're not talking about that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because I do have people asking me in different states, well, what about this state? What about that state? As I find out more information about how much they have in surplus and what they're going to do with that money, I will let you guys know. Okay, let's go to this this graph here. Now, this is coming straight from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay? Now, they're saying here that the food prices are up 10% for the year end April 2022. The largest 12-month increase since November 1980. Now, I want you to look at this, because this is really scary when you start looking at what we're seeing here in this graph. Now, the first thing I want to focus on is the yellow. Okay, so we know the yellow here tells us it's meat, poultry, fish, and eggs. Now, these are things that are necessities, right? We're not talking about junk food here. We're talking about food that you need to survive. So we're going to look at the yellow. I also want to look at the green here. So food away from home. So that's going to restaurants and things like that. And then we also want to look at the blue. The blue is food at home. So this is stuff that you're preparing at your house. So when we're looking at food away from home, we're looking at things that's more of it's not a necessity. You don't have to go to a restaurant to get food. But when we're looking at food at home, and when we're looking at the yellow here, meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, these are necessities. So let's look at this graph. So we see, and this is going year for year, and it started in 1968 and it moved all the way to 2022. Okay, so we see that back in the 70s, things were really, really bad when it came to inflation. Now, let's move forward. And as we move forward, we start to see, this is the peak here. And this peak goes straight across. That's not a straight line, but you guys get the point here. We're in a pretty bad situation just looking at the current state. All right, now I want to zoom in on this area here, because this is very, very important for us to focus on. So when we're looking, and this is all, just so you know, this is all 2022. Okay, so when we're looking at this, we looked at the yellow, right? And the yellow, that's meat, poultry, fish, all the necessities. Look at the spike here. Okay, look at that spike. That is something that we should all be concerned about, because it's not getting any better. That spike is there, and it's on the rise. It's not even coming back down. So something we should be focused on. The blue here, and I said the blue was eating at home, right? So eating at home is on the spike, right? So, and I mean, they're going to go together. So if we see inflation when it comes to meat, poultry, fish, and all that, these are things that we usually will be cooking at home. And so not only cooking at home, but let's say if you go to a restaurant, you're still purchasing the poultry and fish and stuff like that. So we're seeing spikes. Now we're also seeing another spike here. We're seeing overall spike. That's the black. Okay, so we're seeing that overall spike. We're seeing the green. So if you're going to restaurants, there's a spike. So everything is on the way up. And that is a really, really bad sign for us right now, going through all the stuff that we're going through. We're looking at the stock market. We're looking at inflation. We're looking at all these different things that are going on right now. And it's all happening. And at the current time, we don't see, and these bars here, I believe these bars are, this is recession. So all these bars are recession. We haven't hit the recession yet, or at least it's not recording a recession. This last recession was in 2020. So we're probably looking at a recession here. Okay, that's just kind of the way things go. And when you pull out, you can kind of see these spikes. Some of these spikes here, you have that recession that's happening during those spikes. So that should be alarming to all of us. We're looking at a situation where the stock market is doing really bad. We're probably going to be going into a recession if we're not already in a recession. Inflation is at an all-time high. And I mean, I wish I could bring better news to you, but I'm bringing the news to you. I'm not going to just sugarcoat things and say, wow, good news, when there is none. And right now, things are looking really bleak. Things are not looking good. Walmart, Target, those two companies are really in the stock market right now. They're losing a lot of money. They're down. And the reason that they're down is because people aren't just going to the store and buying a lot of luxury items anymore, because things are so bad with inflation. They're not going out and buying that TV that they might have wanted to buy because they have to buy groceries. And so now the priority is the groceries that they need to buy in order to survive. And so Walmart and Target and companies like that are really starting to see that effect. So anyway, I just wanted to put this out. Like I said, I just wanted to wait a little bit longer. So I'm going to try to get this out as soon as possible. I'm going to edit it real quick and get it to you guys. But I want to know what you guys think about all this. What do you think? What do you think is the solution? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.